Welcome to Double Fries No Slaw. It's a pop-up Friday special edition episode. Myself, TJ Pittenger, Richie Barnes, along with FSU Soccer head coach Mark Krikorian. Coach, how you doing today?
Geez, I'm doing great, and with the players are back, we're training, so it's what all the coaches are looking for. But more importantly, right now, I get to share some time with you two.
No, we definitely appreciate any time we can get to spend. We've had the opportunity and the pleasure of chatting with a bunch of FSU coaches. It seems like every new coach that we get a chance to talk with, we end up leaving that interview saying this was our favorite. So congratulations on being our new favorite until we talk to somebody else probably in like a week or two. But thank you right now for being our favorite.
I'll tell you, it'd be nice if I was a favorite for my kids and for my wife, but I'll take whatever I can get. If this is what it is, then I'll be happy with it.
We were laughing off air. Richie and I have been going back and forth all weekend, setting up certain times and this, that, and the other. And obviously, we don't want to give anybody else too much shine, but there's another somewhat notable Coach K out there. And I said, hey, when we do the interview with Coach K on Friday, and Richie's like, oh, we have Coach K on. I was like, hey, I only recognize one Coach K here, and he wears garnet and gold. So you had a funny story about Odell, though, with that.
Yeah. So every time I see Odell Higgins, he'll, hey, here's the real Coach K, and we'll have a good laugh about it and stuff. A good-natured fun, of course. The other one that what school is he at? Duke.
Something.
Yeah. So somewhere over
yeah. I think he. I remember most from coaching Team USA. And speaking of that, the Olympics going on now. I heard you guys delayed practice just a little bit to watch a gold medal match, and we'll start right there. Gabby Carl and Team Canada winning a gold medal. How cool is it to have a gold medalist coming back to your team? I know you've been missing her from practice and everything else, but how proud are you of her and the team, obviously, but then being able to bring back the experience of legitimately winning a gold medal back to Tallahassee and her in her final season here next year.
How about that? The team went crazy when they ended up winning, and special moment for her for sure, and all of us here in Tallahassee. We're thrilled to have her be part of our team, and looking forward to hearing about her experiences and how we know that will help us in the long run as well. But Gabby's a 4.0 student and obviously elite level player, and we're excited to get her back here and take a good look at what that gold medal looks like.
Yeah, we I want to focus more on this year, but we'd be remiss not to talk about last year and just like how weird it was splitting up the season. And then, a lot of really intense finishes, a bunch of really good ones, and then one that wasn't so good at the end. I've seen a lot of people that maybe aren't as familiar with soccer over the last couple of weeks talking on social media. And it seemed like in not only you guys' run to the national championship game, but also the Euros that were going on and the Gold Cup and the CONCACAF, like everything that was going on, so many games and so many matches ended in penalties. And it's a harsh way for games to end. But can you talk about like the highs and lows of that run there at the end of the year? Again, I know it didn't go the way we wanted at the very end, but can you talk about that a little bit with us?
Yeah, I thought that, we started our season in July and we went through the ACC final in November. And I thought we were really good at that point. We played good soccer. We were following the ACC final, ranked number one in the country, which we stayed throughout the entire spring. And then through the spring, I thought we were very good as well. So we came back in January and then competed for the national championship. I think it was May 17th, which is a really long season. So the uncertainty of COVID, the uncertainty of whether the games are going to be played, the uncertainty of whether you're actually going to have an NCAA tournament or not. Credit to our players and all the players around the country, the schools, the administrative teams, the NCAA for being able to pull it all together. But to directly address your question, so as we got down the stretch in the NCAA tournament, we were playing pretty well. We ended up with 3 penalty kick games in a row. We were quite good in the game against Duke, but they defended pretty well. We ended up going into penalties and winning on that day. And then against Virginia in the semifinal, again, it was the same result. ending in penalties. And again, we were able to prevail in penalties. And then in the national final against Santa Clara, we had 1-0 late into the game, gave up a goal, and that also ended in penalties. And on that day, we weren't successful. So it's harsh. It's kind of a lousy way to win and a much worse way to lose.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there's a better solution. And as long as in the world game, the World Cup, the Olympics, whatever it would be, that's how games are being settled. I think our players need to have that experience of learning those pressure moments to prepare them for the big stage, which we just saw Canada win a gold medal on that big stage through penalty kicks. So hopefully in the end there's some good that comes out of it. But for me, I'm proud of our team, our kids. I thought they had a great run last year, and we have a very good team back again this year with some new players that have come in, and we should. I know a lot of times you guys are talking to coaches and they're sandbagging and talking about rebuilding year. We got no rebuilding year. We got all kinds of good players. We got all kinds of talent, and we're going to be a good team.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love the comments. We agree. I mean, you obviously have built in the athletic department, your team, you guys have built something that's just incredible, that so many FSU fans love, really, especially with COVID through the last year and everything being so kind of tough and uncertain. I feel like fans really rallied around, the programs that did really, really well, right? Or really all the programs, but like the support for soccer and softball and just, your Olympic programs was really fantastic. I agree with you. I don't really know how you'd change much up. I mean, because after they've been running around for 2 hours, I don't know that you can make them run much more. But we asked Kaylee Mudge this in softball, had a similar result, right? Made it all the way to the final and then ended up losing. But you see so many times in sports a team lose a finals or a Super Bowl or a national championship. I mean, you think about the Patriots lost one and came back and won the next two. The Heat lost one and came back and won the next two. The Lakers lost one and came back and won the next two. So, you've got the talent, you've got the folks in there returning 10 out of 11 starters. How much does that loss in that final game really drive everything that you guys do to make you want that title even more this year coming up?
Well, I think in the focus that we have is it's a different team. It's a different year. We have a different schedule. The opponents will be different. Of course, we'll play a very talented ACC schedule as well. But I don't really go back and look at it in that way. I look at it, we're going to be the best version of ourselves that we can be, and we're going to train this group to be the best, most competitive team. For me, looking at the bigger picture, right? And sometimes as coaches, we're not always able to do that. But I think if I have my numbers right, we've been here for 16 seasons and we've played in 10 Final Fours. And for me, one of the things I'm the most proud of is the consistency of the program. And I think now that we've been to 5 national championship games and we've won 2, one of the things that I know is that you can be the best team. It doesn't necessarily mean on that day you're going to win. And I say that because in 2018, in the semifinal, we beat Stanford. Stanford was the best team in the country that year. On that day we played them, we had the best execution of a game plan that you could have. And on that day, we were able to beat the best team in the country. So we were national champions that year. 2014, when we won our first national championship, UCLA was the best team. They went out in the round of 8. 2015, when we lost to Duke in the semifinal, we were the best team in the country. So, from my point of view, soccer is a bit of a different game. And, you get your group organized, you get them competing, you get some momentum going. But on a day, it can be a really cruel game. You're hitting the crossbar, you're missing chances. The referee may not side with some of the decisions that you think are fairly obvious, and it can change the landscape of the game and stuff. So, for me, I fully expect that we're going to be playing late into the season again with an opportunity to compete for the national championship. The hope is that we'll be sharp enough on that championship day to compete to win. And honestly, I thought last season we were. I thought we were quite good in the final. I thought we dominated the game in so many different ways. but we didn't score the goals when we had the chances. And if you leave the other team hanging around, well, they're good teams. They got there for a reason, and things can happen. So I think today the Swedish team is going to be quite disappointed in their game against Canada. In the first half, they were ahead 1-0. They didn't come out with the same focus and intensity in the second half. Let Canada come back into the game, gave a penalty kick, and now all of a sudden Canada is the Olympic champion, where Sweden probably feels that, for a large part of the game, they were the better team.
Yeah, and that has to be so difficult when you think about it, because you're like, you think about the NBA, the NHL, you have, a 7-game series to decide the winner. But you guys are kind of like March Madness, where, the best college basketball team doesn't always win a national title. One upset happens and, everything goes from there. So it's got to be tough. But like you mentioned, you've been on the right side and the wrong side a few times. But looking at this year, you guys have 10 of 11 starters returning. How exciting is that, especially once Gabby comes back with her gold medal? And I love your answer earlier, how you're saying you're not going to sandbag us. You guys are going to be a good team. And I think most people would agree with that.
Yeah. We're excited about it. We have a really good roster, and we have a really good schedule as well. So you kind of put the two elements together, and it has the makings for a very good season. And we have good players all over the field. We have really good players coming off the bench as well. And that's what makes me feel as confident about the quality that we have. I think that we have a lot of kids that could start on any given day. And now it's a matter of us managing the roster and understanding that last year was a different year, and that the volume of training and playing that they did last year will have an effect on them this year. And making sure with our strength and conditioning and our medical team and so on, that we're managing the team so that we can be both successful and keep the players healthy.
And Coach, that's a great point, because you kind of hinted at it. We went almost the length of like a college basketball season just for, women's soccer, which isn't typically the case. So obviously managing injuries is going to be interesting, but how's the conditioning of the team? Did that at least help you guys as far as them, with such a short break coming back almost in not quite midseason form, but in better than a typical, training camp?
Yeah, I think you hit on something. We have a collection of type A personalities. They're that way in the classroom, in the community, and on the field. And the fitness, the first thing we do here at Florida State and many teams around the country is we do a test. It's called the beep test, and it's really a measure of their fitness. And our kids came back and blew it away. So I think that they've taken the summer to get some rest first and foremost, and then probably for the last 6 or 8 weeks got after it pretty hard. The testing results were excellent, probably the best we've ever had. So I think from a physical and a psychological point of view, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, and you guys, you're jumping right into things. Texas A&M has a pretty good program. That's the first game of the season. We're all really excited. I feel like you need to give Jimbo a text and say, hey, you need to watch out because we're coming here. But just talk about opening the season. That's, we see it in college football a lot, like a big opening weekend game, as opposed to, the FCS school. That's just a warm up. So you guys have to be ready to play from game one this year.
Yeah, for sure. A&M is always a top 10 team. They've had great runs, both in the SEC and through the national tournament for an awful lot of years. A lot of talented kids, a lot of kids from Texas, and that's certainly a hotbed of youth soccer here in the U.S. And their coaches do an exceptional job with them. So we fully understand that we'll have our hands full in that first competition. But when you're at Florida State, you should be playing the best. And we're trying to get all of the best teams around the country to play and have that experience so our kids can learn and grow. We're always playing our best when we've played against good players and the best programs. I think going out winning a game 5-6-7-0 doesn't really do your team a whole lot of good.
You talked about this, and the expectation with FSU soccer is much like the expectation that FSU football has had for a long time, right? Like expectations have changed now a little bit with football, but we hope that they're building back. But the expectation is a title, right? And it is the national championship, and that's really why all programs exist. But that's certainly why your program exists right here. What's that like to to have that kind of expectation? Do you feel kind of that target on the back from other teams of maybe, you guys have played in a lot of finals and stuff, but maybe at other times in your career where you weren't like the team to beat, is it different carrying that weight? Is it more weight? Is it tougher on the players, or, obviously you have the talent to back it up, but what is it like to kind of have that target on the back?
Well, I think we all know Coach Bowden and his staff set such an absolutely fantastic level of expectation here in the athletic department, and we're all so grateful for what he did back in the day. And I feel fortunate that I had a chance to be here at Florida State during part of his time. I look at the program that Mike Martin established here and the excellence. Some of the records that he established here are just mind-boggling, right? Mm-hmm. It's just unbelievable with the number of wins and 40 wins in 40 seasons. I mean, I don't know how you even think about things like that, but Coach Martin and his staff and all those great players that have come through. We look at Sue Samrau and what a great job she's done, and so many of the programs around here, Bob Raymond and the track program. So I think the level of expectation around here has been really, it's about excellence. And when I came here, when Mr. Hart brought me here, and we talked about competing for national championships, competing for ACC championships. And, for me, I don't feel any more pressure or less pressure based on the success or failure of one game to the next, nor the season. We know that we're going to be a good team. We know we're going to play and prepare the best we can. We're going to give every opponent we have the ultimate respect of full preparation and going out with the idea of competing to win the game. So I don't feel any more pressure or less pressure whether our team is coming off playing in the national championship game, winning the national championship, going out in the round of 4 or 8 or whatever it is. Here the expectation is that we're going to give our finest effort, and we're going to be playing as deep into the season as we can.
I know you may not want to give precedence to one game over another or this or that. What I will ask you, and what a lot of fans like to hear, is when you get the opportunity to play against the rivals, how special is that? And not to give them a ton of bulletin board material or anything on here, but I don't know how many of them are listed anyway. But how special is it to play against and beat the rivals? Whether it be ACC rivals or, the two big ones in state, Miami and Florida.
Yeah, first of all, I'm sure that everyone's listening to this with you guys. Come on, don't sell yourself short. So in our world, of course, the local rival for us is the University of Florida, and they've had such a great program over the years. I came in here, and they were a well-established program. They'd won a national championship, and they've been dominating the SEC. And honestly, I consider the coach who's recently retired to be a friend, far better than I think you're supposed to as a Florida State rival. But we've had as healthy a relationship as you could possibly ask for, respectful. Recently, we've been able to win a little bit more than we've been able to lose against them, but it certainly did help to motivate us to be good and to be great. Outside of the University of Florida, the rival that I see is the University of North Carolina. And I don't know whether they view us as a rival or I just view them or we view them as a rival, because they have such a wonderful history and so many championships that, Carolina women's soccer set the bar for excellence in the world of women's soccer. And in so many ways, I'm appreciative of what they've done, because it showed us what we had to do to be great. And, in recent times, we've fared very well against them. But there's no shortage of respect coming from me and my office and my team for what both Florida and Carolina have done. But it does feel pretty good when you win those games.
So you guys play Florida a couple of nights before we'll all be in town for Labor Day weekend. So I'm trying to move for anybody listening or watching, if you move your trip back to Thursday instead of Friday, you can go watch Florida State hopefully beat the Gators on that Thursday evening.
Yeah, it should be great. We have such great crowds for that game too. I mean, the folks come out, and the whole bleachers are full, the parking garage across the way, the whole top of it, the tailgaters are there, and it's really an electric atmosphere. It's become a wonderful soccer rivalry, and I think it's good for the game and it's good for the state.
Yeah, Coach. I know when I was at school, that was my favorite place to watch the game was the parking garage, right? We could have a cooler of beer. We could watch y'all play. That was definitely the good times. Something new to college sports that, I'm sure you, your team, the university, all of the college world is having to adjust to is this name, image, and likeness. And I personally, I love that the players have the ability now to make money off of their own name, image, and likeness. I think of someone like, Dana Castellanos from Venezuela, who had over 1 million Instagram followers while she was at Florida State, probably one of the most popular athletes, regardless of sport or gender, in Venezuela. Just what are you guys, how are you guys approaching this with the players as far as, I know we have the Apex program, but it's got to be weird as a coach because this is something that's never happened before. Is it a welcomed addition? Because it's cool to see these players now have this opportunity kind of on their own to go figure it out. But the window's open. And I think, women's sports has a huge opportunity here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. And you mentioned Dana Castellanos, and she probably would have set one heck of a high bar with having, as you said, 1.2, 1.3 million Instagram followers or Twitter followers or whatever, and probably would have been worth an awful lot of money had they had NIL back in the day. But for me, I think it's great that these players are getting a piece of the pie, and if there are different businesses, corporations out there that are looking and thinking that there's certain players that would represent them and their business in the right fashion, and it's agreeable to both parties, that it can make an awful lot of sense. So, from my point of view, the goal with our team is for when they're with us to concentrate on their play and their development, and our goal is to help them continue to refine their skills so that they're going to be able to go and have a life following college as professional players, as Castellanos is over with Atletico Madrid at this time, and as so many of our kids are playing as pros now. But you're right, it is a new world. There are new opportunities, there are new beginnings, and there will be players out there, and I think we have a couple of them already, and maybe more than that, that are going to profit off of NIL, and I think we'll all learn about it as it happens. There's certainly no path to follow because no one's been down there before.
We talked with some different coaches about this, and I like to ask every coach that we have on just kind of their take on it, their thoughts around it. I understand what booster support does just for the general fund and how that impacts things, but just from your perspective, maybe something that you could share with our listeners who maybe are considering becoming boosters, maybe a way that it's impacted players on your team, or just, whatever direction you want to take that. But I'll give you a second to talk about booster support and how it directly impacts your program.
Yeah, I think it's vital. I mean, all of these, it's an arms race around the country, and everyone is trying to make sure that their facility is comparable to the competition, and that the travel is comparable, and the apparel and all of the different elements. And the booster support is just vital for our ability to continue to recruit good kids, to be able to provide different technologies to help the players learn, grow, and stay healthy. So, from my point of view, I look at the booster piece as an absolutely vital piece of our athletic department and every athletic department. And, the more help and support they give us, the more our opportunity to be great increases.
Yeah, and Coach, obviously, anyone who's paid attention to your program knows you get elite talent to Tallahassee, and it's not just from the United States. You recruit worldwide, and the importance of that booster fund to help that recruiting budget. So not as much of a question, but just a statement to the listeners. If you like having a soccer team that's competing for national championships every single year, that's a huge help because, it helps coach go out, to Venezuela and get someone like a Dana. And it's just awesome. I love seeing that. The international athletes that you bring into the program, it's really boosted it to a level that, when I was in school, I wasn't sure we'd get to, and to see it there now, I love it.
Well, I appreciate that. We certainly have the maybe among the most diverse programs in the country. With as you said, we have a player from China, we have a player from Japan, we have European players, we have of course a boatload of American players, local kids from here in Florida, kids from as far to the west as California. So, we have an awful lot of players where we are searching and looking around the world for those players that are top players, but also really do care about their academics and want to be good people.
I love that not only do you recruit internationally, you send them back out internationally. I'm a big international soccer fan. Some heartbreaking news yesterday with Messi leaving Barcelona, but it's cool with Dana over at Atletico Madrid. Like I drove right by there, or I walked right. We wouldn't have a car, but I walked right by Atletico Madrid Stadium when I was in Madrid a couple of years ago. And, now I want to go back wherever Messi goes to see his next match. But it's obviously that being a big recruiting tool too, like the talent that you're sending out and how successful the program is. A lot of coaches that I've talked with off air, and I know you can't mention players specifically or anything like that, but a lot of coaches kind of are pairing up a big recruiting weekend in Tallahassee for Labor Day. I know you play on Thursday of that week, but and then don't play again until the next Thursday. Do you have a big recruiting weekend lined up for that weekend as well? Or you got folks coming in for it?
Yeah, we obviously try and coordinate when we're having a home game with when football's playing at home, and sometimes that works out great, and other times it doesn't work out quite so well. But for our Florida game, we think that there'll be a good crowd here. We have a number of our top kids coming in, and there's football as well. So, Coach Norvell and his staff are top class. They're doing just a great job, and we're looking forward to supporting them as they continue to grow that program back to what Coach Bowden and Coach Fisher brought to great heights.
Yeah, we know you'll be busy that weekend, but we're going to have a tailgate right up next to Doak, and we'll have plenty of Guthrie's chicken tenders if you get a minute to stop by and grab some.
The opportunity to have a little Guthrie's chicken seems like that's incentive enough. We thought to hang out with you guys.
That's the big bonus. Coach, you can hang out with us now.
Yeah, I get that.
Coach Krikorian, thank you, the real Coach K. Thank you so much for taking some time and hanging out with us. We're so excited for your upcoming season. Like I said, I'm trying to get my wife to let me move the trip back in evening so that I can make it up for the Florida game. But
well, tell your wife that she needs to support women in sport. I mean,
I'm telling you,
make it a gender issue.
I thought wasn't she an athlete as well, TJ?
She was, yeah. The bigger issue is the leaving her for like 5 days with the two kids.
She's not coming. No,
it's a staying married issue.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, she may come. We're trying to figure it out now, or giving the grandparents 2 kids for 5 days. So anyway, well, cool. Well, Coach, thank you so much again for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And we wish you guys all the best of luck. And we'll let you know where the tailgate and when it's going on is.
It's a pleasure, guys. I appreciate your time and your interest in our program.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, buddy.
All right. See ya.
See you guys. Mark Krikorian, the real Coach K. That's the title of the episode, the real Coach K. We're not. What did you say? We're not reloading. We're not rebuilding. We're just trying to win.
We're not rebuilding. I love that.
I love it.
You get that from coaches so often, where they say, like he said, the coaches try to sandbag the team. Like Mike Norvell's doing it right now. And granted, obviously, he's not at a national championship level team, coming off 3 wins. But Jimbo did it seemingly every year, even when he had this thing rolling. But he's like, no, we're going to be good. And I'm here to tell you, we're going to compete late into the season. And the goal is to win a national championship and nothing less. And I love a coach with that mentality, and that you see what it's done for the program. So that was very refreshing to hear someone being so blunt and honest about how he feels about his team.
Yeah, no, like I like it. I like it reminds me of it reminds me of MJ, bro. Like, hey, no, we're gonna win. Like, we're gonna go back out and win. Like all the greats, MJ, Kobe, Brady. Like, I'm not coming back for one more year just to be good or just be average. Like, we're gonna win.
And you could hear, like, it wasn't false bravado like we've seen from some athletes or coaches at no matter if college or pro, whatever. Like, he was very matter of fact, like, yeah, we're going to be good. We're going to compete late, and we want to win a title.
Yeah, I love it. So he was awesome. I really am. It's going to be tough to get up there on Thursday night, but I really would like to get up there. Probably cover the game for us, but either way, we'll kind of see how it works out. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We appreciate it. We do have a giveaway going on our Instagram. If you're watching this, go to Double Fries Pod on Instagram. Richie's giving away a couple of tickets to a Bucks game coming up next weekend against the Bengals. That's the 14th. So that is a week from Saturday. Check that out. You just got to tag 2 friends, follow us, and share it to your story, kind of like every other giveaway on Instagram ever. Check that out. Win a couple of Bucks tickets. If you're not in the Tampa Bay area, you could maybe donate them to charity. You could give them to a friend. You could give them to me. I'm probably not going, but it's a good thought. So go check out our Instagram. Go check out the giveaway. Double Fries No Slaw brought to you by Guthrie's in Tallahassee, 1818 West Tennessee, 2550 North Monroe. Appreciate their support. Definitely excited to get up there and tailgate with those guys. A whole bunch of fried chicken. If you want to come to the tailgate, slide in our DMs. We'll talk with you about getting there. And no charge. We're not charging anybody anything for it, but we'd love to hang out. We'd love to see you guys up in Tallahassee. Hang out with some of these FSU coaches, some of these FSU legends that we've interviewed. And, I think it'd be a good time. So, anything else, Richie, before we get out of here? You got any shout outs? You got a song for us? Anything like that?
Nothing today, man. It was a rough day. I got to work at 4:30, so I could make sure I had left in time to get here and do this interview, but I was not going to miss the chance to interview a national championship winning head coach at Florida State. 2-time national title. The wife won't be home for a few hours, so I might sneak out and try and get 9 holes in real quick. We'll see.
That sounds like something you would do. Song. I can't think of anything.
How about we play the Canadian national anthem in honor of Gabby for winning a gold medal? I think that's fair.
Sounds good. If I can find an edition of the Animals singing it, that'll be the one that I use.
That's the one. Yeah, that's definitely it.
See if I can find somebody's phone recording of it. So congrats to Team Canada and Gabby Carl for winning a gold medal today, and congrats to us for getting another 2-time national champion on the pod. So thanks to my guy Brett over at FSU Soccer for setting that up. All right, cool. We'll see you guys Sunday. I told you guys we might have a pop-up. We will not have a pop-up between now and then. Literally nothing could happen that would make me get on this mic tomorrow. So we will see you guys on I say that and like the wildest thing ever will happen, and we'll do it. But we'll see you guys Sunday. Until then, go Noles.